Well, hello everyone. Welcome back to Kenny Bear's Arms. Today the Minnesota Gun Owners Caucus tweeted out some interesting information, updating us Minnesota 2A enthusiasts about the universal background checks and kind of how it's going to work out. I'm going to try and keep this video short and kind of share my main takeaways and things I noticed from it. But I'll leave a link to the Eminent Gun Owners Caucus expanded kind of thing, which you should obviously read for yourself and familiarize yourself with the new changes and stuff like that. Um, and then Rob Dorr has a video on their YouTube page. I'll link to that too, so you guys can watch that and get a better grasp than mine. But maybe you guys will get some useful information out of this, and you can spread it to your friends and let them know that hey, there's finally some kind of information out there regarding this new law that we're all going to have to follow here in Minnesota, and if we don't want to be criminals. So, universal background checks, basically, when they first kind of brought this out, they're talking about like anytime that there's a sale of any firearm in Minnesota, we wanted to have a universal background check. I guess it kind of sounds like it's changed a little bit because there are some transfers that are exempted now from this. So it's like if I like one of the things I noticed right away here was immediate family members. Transfers between immediate family members, defined as spouses, domestic partners, parents, children, siblings, grandparents, and grandchildren, are exempt. So it kind of sounds like, hey, if you know, Grandpa passes away and he wants to donate a gun down to you, it sounds like you can take possession of that and not have to go through a background check to take, your family take a personal belonging uh, to yourself from another family member, which sounds nice. There's a lot of exemptions for curios, relics, antiques, and stuff like that. And some other weird stuff. But at least like immediate family members was kind of a nice thing that I wanted to see because I was really kind of worried about that whole thing and how that would affect people like gifting or hand me downs or stuff like that. If it wasn't a family friend, or not a family friend, but if it was a not an immediate family member, it was a friend or something like that that you wanted to sell a firearm to. Well, now if you want to do it legally, you got to go to like an FFL, and they got to fill out a 4473. There's another weird option that is kind of interesting to me too. Um, you have to complete a record of transfer form and keep the form for 5 years if you're the transferee, and 10 years if you're the transferer. So I thought that was really interesting and different. I obviously this is my first time ever going down the road with universal background checks, but I thought that was kind of interesting. That if I want to sell a firearm and privately, well, they can complete the transfer record, or whatever, and but now we both have to keep our own copy of it. That's kind of interesting. So like I also noticed too, like if you're using a firearm when you're hunting and stuff like that, it sounds like like a rental when you're hunting or something like that. It kind of sounds like that's exempt to me. But obviously, like I said, I'll link this down in the description so you guys can read more through it. But I thought I was kind of nice to see that because I was also kind of worried about how that would affect, because Tim Walz says, "Oh, I own guns. I'm a hunter." It's like, well, okay, but what if your kid wants to use the firearm to hunt or something like that? Just an example state, like, well, then he'd have to go through a background check, or maybe he wouldn't even be eligible to use it all of a sudden now because of this whole fiasco. That's just one thing that I was kind of concerned about because obviously there's plenty of hunters in Minnesota and they like doing that whole thing. So far, from what I'm gathering from this too, it seems like the permit to purchase, the universal background check thing, somehow is only applying to like modern sporting rifles and semi-automatic military-styled assault weapons. Oh boy! So it doesn't sound like it's affecting necessarily like long guns, maybe like bolt-action rifles and stuff like that. Maybe like it sounds like Minnesota defines like a semi-automatic assault style weapon as a weapon that has like a pistol grip and a detachable magazine. Like those are the most distinct features. At least that's how it's always been explained to me when I first started getting into this. I'm like, you can go to a store and not have a permit to purchase, but you're not going to be walking out with an AR-15 because it has a pistol grip, because it has detachable magazine. Whereas you go in there, you can go in there and buy like a Benelli shotgun. It's a semi-automatic, but because it doesn't have a detachable uh, magazine, it doesn't have a pistol grip. You can go in there and buy it's like a long gun essentially, or something like that. Correct me if I'm wrong, but that's kind of how it was always explained to me when you're going through that thing here. So I guess obviously I don't want universal background checks, but I guess if we're gonna have to have them, I don't want them. This is unconstitutional AF. Obviously, we shouldn't have to deal with any of this, but at least it sounds like some of the stuff got like washed out of this, from the original way it was kind of set up for us. So the other giant thing that I was kind of concerned about that I saw was instead of the 7-day period to get your permit to purchase, they have up to 30 days now. Ugh, which really, I mean, why is it? Why anyway? Like it shouldn't. Like 7 days was fine to begin with. Like why does it need to be 4 times as long? I don't know. That kind of frustrates me too. It's really going to be kind of. I feel like that would be a burden on most people. It's just like you have to wait that long just to. That's the 7 days was kind of stupid to begin with anyway. But whatever. Like I feel like, especially when you go to buy a gun, it doesn't take that long to get one. The background checks don't take that long anyway. When the FBI or whatever, whoever does them. It comes back pretty quick. So I don't know. It's really interesting stuff. But yeah, I'll keep this short for you. But those are kind of the main two takeaways that I saw. Is that it kind of only is affecting semi-automatic military style assault weapons, and there's a lot of exemptions in here for when we were originally worried about transferring guns between, like, if I want to rent one from the range, am I going to have to fill out a 4473 just to use one at the range? Doesn't sound like that's a thing. So at least there's some good things that got knocked out of this, but it still sucks that this is a thing anyway. But so make sure you go check out the MN Gun Owners Caucus. Wow, sorry. Their Twitter for more information. Check out the links in the description below for Rob Door's video on their YouTube, and the MN Gun Owners Caucus website for the more detailed breakdown of everything. Very interesting read, guys. Take it easy, be well, and I'll see you in the next video.